If my back was against the wall and I had to pick just one color for my seamless background paper, I'm going gray every single time. And it has to do with the versatility of gray. Of course it's gray, so you can have a gray backdrop, but you also can light it and make it white, or you can remove the light from hitting it and make it black. So the versatility and flexibility of gray makes it a great option if you only could have one background color. Gray is definitely a great choice. Now, when you look at white, of course, white can be made gray and black as well, and black can be the same. But with both white and black, because they're on the extreme ends, it becomes a little bit more harder and requires more work to get white to black, for example, or to get black to white. It is doable, but it's not as easy to do as being in the middle with gray. So that's why I recommend gray, and that's why I love using gray backdrops, because whatever look I'm trying to get, I can make it happen without having to change seamless paper. Now, when it comes to shooting on gray seamless paper, obviously getting it to be gray is relatively easy. You're going to have your subject in place, you're going to light your subject, and as long as some light is hitting your background, it is going to appear gray. Now, of course, you can adjust the tonality of the gray by how much light you allow to hit that background. So you also have that flexibility there to get the shade of gray that you want. Now, when it comes to turning that background white, you really have two main options. You can either light the background individually, which is what I typically like to do, because in that way it gives you control. You can control your background. You still can have your subject where you want your subject to be and light your subject how you want to light your subject. So you have the most flexibility that way, but sometimes you don't have that option, or maybe you just don't feel like doing it. So the second option is to back your subject up close to the background and utilize the inverse square law. So by doing that, you'll be able to light your subject. That light will also hit the background and turn your background white. Now, it may not be a pure white, but you can adjust that in post if that's the look that you're going for. Now, when it comes to turning that gray background black, it really is the opposite of what you would do to turn that background white. You can either move your subject away from the background, and again, we're getting into inverse square law, so that way the light isn't reaching that background, and in turn, if light doesn't hit it, what happens to it? It's going to appear black, right? So you can pull your subject off, but if you don't have the space to do that, the second option is to feather your light. So essentially, we want to prevent the light from your key light or whatever light source you're using from hitting that background, and in turn, that's going to cause that background to turn black in camera. Now, when you're doing that method, depending upon how big or how small your space is, it's very likely that you will have to flag the lights to some degree, because if you're in a smaller space, when you feather that light and you have that light facing off to the side, if you have a white wall or something where that light can bounce off of, it's going to bounce off of that wall and hit your background. So if you're in a smaller space, prepare to flag that light, so then that way you're preventing any of that bounce to help you get that black. And the same thing as with white, you can adjust it in post as well. So if you get it relatively close in camera, it's really easy to bring that black point down in post and get you that look. What I really love about using gray is the ability to be able to change the color of my backdrop literally within seconds, just by either moving my subject or adjusting my key light. And this is really useful when you're on a client job, or if you're doing some sort of portrait shoot where you want to change that look, but you don't really want to have to do the hassle of having to swap out seamless paper, which can definitely be cumbersome and take time. This is a great way to be able to get different looks with different backgrounds literally in a matter of seconds. So it really is convenient, and the versatility can't be beat. And of course, if you want some color, you can simply gel your light, and gray works very well with gelled light. So you basically can have any color that you want. Now, of course, this isn't going to compare to actually using a colored background paper, which is always going to be more vibrant and more punchy. But if you're just looking to quickly change the color of a background, gray is a great canvas to be able to take that gelled light, flash that light onto it, and boom, there you go. You got whatever color that you want. So head on down to the comments and let me know your preferred color for your seamless paper. And if I've missed anything in this video, if you have a creative way on how you change the color of your backdrop paper, definitely let me know. I'm always intrigued to find new ways to do things. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so that way you don't miss any future videos. And lastly, on your way out the door, if you could just tap that thumbs up button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. It really does help the channel. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and until the next one, take care.